welcome back to season 3 of Kandid Koffee. I have Van and Zaven here with me. They are the creative forces behind Zartonk Media. Gentlemen, welcome. Thank you so much for taking my invitation.
Thanks.
Thank you for having us.
Of course. So I spoke to you first, and you very happily obliged, which I was so kind of surprised that you were okay with meeting and talking about this career you guys have built. How has it been for the both of you the last few months? We're a little bit past the war. I know there's a lot of stuff still going on, but how has it been since September 27th for you guys?
It's
both professionally and personally.
It's been very tough, I think, for every Armenian. But at the end of the day, we're not in Hayastan, we're not in Artsakh. We have a right to feel sad and depressed and all of that, but there are families who are very deeply affected by what happened. They lost loved ones, they lost brothers, sisters, grandparents, parents, siblings. So as bad as we feel, it's not close to what happened there.
Right.
But again, it's whether you call it diaspora trauma, this or that, it's a very sad and depressing thing that happened. But I think Armenians are very good at uplifting themselves, getting together. I know there's COVID, I know there's all of that, and we're all being careful. But Armenians are very good at just rejoicing, seeing the good things in life, and having coffee, sitting with friends, and building new relationships.
Absolutely. Did it fuel your work more? I got to get this story out, it's important? Or did it kind of cripple you in a sense where seeing constantly, because I can turn off my phone and I can say I don't want to listen to it anymore because it's overwhelming for me, even though we're so curious, right? We were watching everything minute to minute, staying up all night, but it's your job to report. Did you feel like it was really overwhelming at times?
It was overwhelming, but kind of like how Zaven mentioned, I think I can speak on behalf of Zaven. We in the diaspora, we have that privilege of being. I don't think we have the right to be overwhelmed. There's our homeland needs us. We're trying to do as much as we can. Removed from the immediate situation in Armenia. We're sitting comfortably in our homes in Los Angeles and Boston and Montreal, but it was kind of. We also have a duty to let Armenians know what's going on,
right.
and it's important for us to build bridges and keep those bridges, afloat and standing.
And to add to that, I think that I personally, after the third day or the fourth day, I'm like, all right, this is not a 4-day war. This is not the July clashes that happened just a few months ago or last month. So I'm like, Zaven, there's work to be done. Van, there's work to be done. Let's try our best to compartmentalize, quote unquote, and get it out. And social media is the greatest equalizer, right? So it allows us to do what we want to do from our houses. People can start their own businesses from their homes. At the same time, the information is free flowing. There's a POW being tortured. It's horrible to say.
Yeah.
You see the video an hour later. And it's not like the videos are being leaked, but Azadis are posting it like it's a good thing, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I think at the same time, I agree with what Van was saying, but there's definitely diasporans do have a right to feel sad and depressed and all of that, because they're normal emotions, and life isn't just about the ups, it's also about the downs. It's about getting through the ups with friends and through the downs with friends.
Right. Right.
And just to add to that,
course, yeah.
Whenever a war happens, obviously everyone organizes and mobilizes, and the diaspora needs to kind of carry its weight and in whatever way they can. And I guess just us, we're two people, but we tried to do as much as we could, and in that just kind of amplify the Armenian perspective and just trying to get the news out there, so not only Armenians could see and understand what's going on, but for Odars as well, for people that are either removed from the community for whatever reason, or just to a greater global audience.
Yeah, yeah. I can only imagine the amount of responsibility you guys felt. I mean, you're taking your job very seriously. You chose to do this work. And with that, with great, power in a sense of having all this access to information that you have to share, comes great responsibility. You are affecting people's lives with the images you post, with the information you put out there. And I feel like it's really heavy. I would have felt like that, like, damn, I hold a lot of information in my hand that I'm putting out there. Is that how you were feeling?
I mean, we were. Like the daily routine was Zaven come over, Vaughn come over, 6 a.m. we would start because that's when the first briefing was. And then we would go until 1 p.m., 2 p.m. And then we would maybe take a nap for an hour. And then just keep working in the afternoon. The best thing about that was there was a lot of diaspora Armenians, a lot of Armenians in Hayastan who reached out and wanted to help in any way they could. So we had people help us translate, we had people help us write this and write that. So that was a big plus because it was just us doing everything.
Right.
We were putting out 15 to 20 pieces of content a day, and there were videos and very complex things, but that's how it was for pretty much the entire 44 days. Staying up till 2 a.m., waking up at 6 a.m. But at the end of the day, it's honestly, we're not fighting and we don't have a gun in our hands.
That's true.
This is this is horrible. This is inhumane to stay awake this long, to do all that, but it's also inhumane to be on the front lines and to fight and to hear the drones zooming over you and not knowing when it's going to strike. But
yeah, you guys are amazing. I think you really took on that role and that responsibility onto yourself. I mean, you could be, if you weren't in school, you could have just been on your computer playing, what is that war game that, I don't know, my brother plays it all the time. What was it?
Call of Duty.
Call of Duty, there you go. You could have been doing that. You could have been a lazy, doing whatever. And the fact that you're so young and doing this is really just incredible. One of the things that was going through my mind, again, right after I found out who you were, was that, you kind of just, not judge, but these questions go through your mind. Do you ever feel like people question the validity and the seriousness of the content that you're putting out there based on, in their opinion, maybe that you're not experienced enough, you're not educated enough, they don't really know your background, they're just seeing images and writing on your Instagram?
To answer that, we started out in January of 2019, so we're essentially 2 years in on the month. And in the beginning, I mean, to be honest, we were somewhat, what are people going to think? And like we were 21 at the time. And I think it got to a point that we're like, you know what, let's work, let that speak for itself, and whatever people think, they can think, and it's well grounded, but let the work speak for itself.
Right.
Yeah, essentially that was also one of the reasons why we've tried to be, I guess, we wanted to let our work do the talking. So we didn't want people to be like, oh, Zartonk is Vaughn and Zaven, so let's support it because of that reason. We wanted people to like it because it's good work. Yeah, I mean, we started out when we were 21 with Zartonk. We're 23, we're 2 years in. Neither of us have a formalized background or education in journalism or in communications. But the one thing, I guess, the blessing and the curse of social media is that it has the power to equalize everyone and to put everyone in the same arena, more or less.
Right.
So you're seeing a lot of people take initiative and start reporting and doing this and that, and we wanted to build on that, but also try to build a brand and plug that gap where we saw it fit, I guess.
Yeah.
And to add to that, to be honest, we made mistakes in the beginning.
Of course,
maybe the first 6 months was like a really, like it was
trial period.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
But we also didn't know if it was going to work out. So we were like, if it doesn't work out, our names aren't a part of it. We'll just close shop and then
no one will
move
ever
on
know.
with our lives. Yeah. But I mean, what we were very lucky about, yes, many Armenians were commenting saying who runs this page, all of that stuff, but
Yeah.
there were even more Armenians who reached out and direct messaged us saying, hey, I have a background in journalism, like let's jump on a Zoom call, let's talk, you know, like I want to help you guys out.
Really?
And there was around
and it was
20
sincere?
Very sincere.
Yeah, a few of them.
So yeah, so
Right.
I can say 10 to 15 people
Yeah.
over the course of the last 2 years we've been in contact with. Like these are people who are established in media, journalism, entertainment, Armenians, diaspora, Hayastan, and then they've essentially given us like a boost on how to
Yeah.
do things, how to word things here and there. But
And it's not the finished project. We're learning as we go.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Of course.
we don't have the background, but we're learning as we go. We learn every day,
You guys
know,
took
from
a
the
huge
feedback and
risk.
stuff. So yeah,
I don't have any background in journalism. I barely finished my bachelor's degree 2 years ago in January with bachelor's in business management. Nothing to do with media. It's just you have a passion for it and you want to help and you want to do something that's going to make a difference. And I love that about you guys.
yes, I mean, we both went to
He's
Ferahian
like, yes.
High School. Yeah, we both went to Ferahian High School, which is in Encino, and grade school. Like it's made me like it's made me the person who I've become. I was there from pre-K until the 12th grade. Vaughn joined in the 6th grade, so we've been friends from there. But also, we've had this Armenian education from a very young age. History, how the genocide impacted our just culture and history, along with the whole Fedai movements. So it was very that essentially was the
Base.
of what
Your
we
knowledge.
built. Yeah. So yeah, I'm sure Vaughn wants
So
that.
yeah, it got ingrained in us from a young age, and just both from I guess the parenting and the family, but also
The school.
going to the school, and that
Of
school
course,
being
like
like
Haya
a
Serutsuna.
exactly, it's
Haya.
like an incubator for
Yeah.
Armenianness, and we got to learn, from a lot of teachers with great experience, and that really kind of shaped us. And like Zaven said, we're lucky enough to have that Armenian history and to
It was
learn about
instilled in you.
exactly. And unfortunately, a lot of I think Armenians, for history is like Mesrop Mashtot, it's Vartam Mamigonian, it's Megerdichian, it's the Armenian genocide. But our history is it's so rich.
So much
there's
more than
there's a
that,
lot
yeah.
to be proud of. So Ferahian kind of was that. It allowed us to learn more about, I guess, our history and our culture, which shaped us to.
I mean, also at my house, my dad would make an extra effort to only talk Armenian. My mom too, and I think it starts at home. It goes to school, and then it goes to your friend circles. But I'm very grateful for my parents, for my upbringing. All of that. So
That's awesome. Yeah, you guys, I mean, it has a lot to do with your school, your friends, your shorjapat, your ծնողները, ամեն ինչը կապ ունի, who you're going to be in your 20s, because you're still kind of molding at that time, and then in your 30s you're not allowed to fuck up anymore, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I mean, we're always molding, we're
Yeah.
always molding.
You're always
Yeah.
molding, exactly, but that base, those roots have to come from a good place. So I love hearing people's stories, and it inspires me because I find things that are relatable to me and everyone that I interview, and just like you guys. So where do you think news media is going? Because a lot of people are not really sitting around watching TV and watching, Fox or KTLA or whatever it is, or CNN. They're more looking towards the internet. With that being said, that's just my opinion. Where do you think news is going, branching out, and where do you want to go from here? Because the sky's the limit, really.
Okay, so I'm going to speak for our plans and what we want to do when it comes to news, and where I see the general direction of it going. But I think generally it's going to be very social first. It's going to be like these companies are going to start making their own websites and apps more user-friendly, and there's going to be exclusive content there, along with more motion graphics-friendly videos on YouTube. But it's definitely TV is essentially it's become the radio. My grandmother, who I love deeply, uses her iPad now.
I'd hope so.
She's gonna watch this, so you
Yeah,
better
that'd be the
mention
shout
it.
out grandma.
Yeah.
And she uses her iPad. She reads Zartonk news on her iPad
Aw.
from our website.
Do you guys translate it to Armenian?
We don't, but
Not
she
yet,
understands.
Oh, but she understands. Okay. That's a
but-
good idea, right?
Yeah,
Russian
yeah,
and Armenian
yeah.
would be good.
Thank you. Yeah.
But it's like most of my friends' parents, it's on Facebook. And I mean, I'm not good at predicting things, but just saying, like, just leaning towards social going forward, it's the move. And for us, some things we want to do is definitely create more content, more video content with us in it, more video content with interviews. There's more to Armenians than just current events.
I know.
There's a whole history. There's like a history channel
Yeah.
that it goes from ancient aliens to Inchkit Naminch, but at the
Yeah.
same time, there's thousands of years of history here to be
Yeah.
told, and we intend on telling all of the main
Operas.
events.
Ayo. Because how much can we regurgitate news about the war? And it's exhausting for other people. It's exhausting for us. I can only imagine. Like, օտարները, they don't even care.
Yeah.
Ավելի լավ կլինի, ասենք eventually, or you can incorporate. You don't have to give up one to do the other, but you can do both. Որ մի քիչ ավելի մեր պատմությունի մասին
Right, of
խոսեք
course.
and things like that, and like people who have invented things. There's so many Armenians who have invented amazing things that people don't even know about. We don't even know about.
Yeah.
So that could be a historical news outlet for people and a learning experience for people, because the attention span, I feel like, is getting shorter and shorter, and people
Yeah.
are, I mean, I don't like to sit and read, but I like to be lectured. I like when someone tells me things
Yeah.
via face-to-face or video. So I think that would be great for you guys to really venture out into different
Yeah.
things like that.
I mean, if you go on YouTube right now, whoever's watching this, type in Napoleon, type in like Emmanuel Macron, just any president, any notable person in history or of current times when it comes to anything except Armenia. Europe, the West, Russia. There's thousands of videos talking about the life of Hitler, talking about the life.
Oh my God,
of-
they're obsessed, yeah.
They're obsessed by
Yeah.
our history is
Watch me banchka.
it's very, very important.
Yeah.
No one knows about Karakinishte, about General Antranik. No one knows about Zabel
Solomon.
Yesayan,
Yeah.
Solomon Teledian.
Aye.
Like these stories aren't told. There should be TV shows and short form
Movies,
content,
yeah.
movies about
Absolutely.
Operation Nemesis, about like the genocide. There's more to be told than just one movie. Like The Promise is an amazing movie, directed by an amazing person. At the same time, there's so much more to be told.
Yeah.
You know,
And I think we sold ourselves really short with that.
No, I think it was a very good film. I think like Eric Ezraelian is like.
Well, the
he's
cast was great, and they said they showed the genocide, but we have that, and like that was one other Ararat movie. Like, there's not enough.
Yes.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, but there's just like I feel like Armenians wait for things to come to them for a few things, but I think it's time for people to be like, you know what, I want to make it.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
like let me talk to 5 friends. Like let me get some money together. Let me produce something.
To be honest with you, I grew up here. I have that high aserutun, obviously, because I'm doing this and I love my people and I love my culture. But a lot of stuff I didn't even know until the war.
Well, yeah, that's exactly it. And it's at Zartonk, we want to be, like you said, just more than a news outlet.
Yes.
We're trying to brand ourselves as a media outlet. So like Zaven said, and he hit the nail on the head, there's so much about so many things, you know, Giuseppe Garibaldi, Napoleon. We have our own Napoleons and Garibaldis that, you know, their stories need to be told.
Yeah.
We also, a project that we want to do is we kind of want to make, Armenian history cool. So like there's a lot of these interactive
Yes, I
videos
like
where, you know, about historical events or notable figures. There's so much historical events and notable figures that we need to put out for not only Armenians to see, but make Armenian history and Armenianness something available to everyone.
Yeah, if people can obsess about Egyptians and
Exactly.
hieroglyphs and pyramids, why can't they know about our history, which is so much more richer and older and everything? And I'm not just tooting our own horn, but like it has to go beyond April 24th and September 27th. We have to talk about things that are newsworthy, and even if it's from the past.
And that's exactly it. We also now, from this war, I think it should have been obvious prior to the war, but the war, I think, underlined the fact that PR is so important. And this is a propaganda war as well. And if someone's interested, if an Odar is interested in, you know, what happened in Artsakh and they type in Nagorno-Karabakh war, the Turkish lobby and Azeris have so much money to help fund their narrative and get their agenda across, where it doesn't tell the story properly, and we want to help get our narrative and our agenda across, the pro-Armenian narrative. The narrative,
we have to be a step ahead.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we want to be a part of that project and get stuff out where, Americans, whenever they type Nagorno-Karabakh war, the actual story is told.
Correct.
So
story.
that's something
Accurate.
that I'd like to see Zartonk Media
push out there.
And within the next 1 to 2 years, I'd say.
Yeah. I love when people have passion projects and they put their whole heart and soul into something without the expectation of getting financial compensation. It's nice, but if you're not expecting it, you're like, I'm still gonna do it anyway. That's really fantastic because you have, you're putting everything into it and not expecting anything back. But eventually we have to eat, we have to pay our bills, and I would love for this to be a very long-term career for you gentlemen. What do you think you could do in order to continue doing your work and add on to things, but also make money? Just, you gotta eat.
Yeah. So the best way to answer that question is we started this when we were 21. We were both university students. It was an idea, and now it's become something bigger than the both of us could have imagined, I think. But the goal is to become the largest Armenian media outlet, and that, like, some people might say, oh, that's too ambitious, but
no such thing.
Like the first time we posted in January of 2019, I'm like, I'm gonna work with Vaughn, and we're gonna take this somewhere, because there's people and there's stories to be told, and no one's doing it. Especially in 2019, there was a few people doing like just any Armenian content on social media. And the way we're gonna do that is we just launched our podcast. It's available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and I think a few more places. It's called Armenia 24 Podcast, and the goal of that is to essentially make the news that happens over the course of a week brought down to 20 to 25 minutes, and it's
a compilation of the week's worth of news.
Like a recap.
Exactly.
A recap,
Yeah, so it's us talking about 4 or 5 more of the notable things. Not that the other things don't matter, but
yes, of course.
So people can hear it in their car or here or there, along with, we were very blessed to meet Roman, who is essentially our producer for our podcast, and we're going to be launching a YouTube show where we not broadcast, but where we are talking more about things on a more in-depth level about current events and
the two of you talking to each other, or will you have guests?
I mean, we haven't decided yet, but we're going to be having guests at the same time. There's going to be ad spots. There's going to be, we have a donor box where people can just contribute because they like what we're doing and they want to see grow. But we're definitely looking to step up the content, and that's going to help us bring in revenue to an extent. And I know Vaughn wants to add some things.
So yeah, there's a verse in Proverbs that says, train up a child in the way he should go, and even when he grows old, he won't depart from it. So, like you mentioned, we're not in this for the money. We're in this just out of sheer Hayre Nasirutun, and we want to kind of do our part for Armenians. But with that, like you said, everyone needs to eat, and we're trying to get there. We also, our next steps are to hire kind of reporters on the ground in Armenia, to have journalists. So for at least for me, whenever we started this project and we talked about how we could grow it, for me, Amenemed's Hajuike would be the fact that I could help people out in Armenia. And whether that be the smallest things like just employing 1 or 2 people, or just trying to add jobs, that's in and of itself something huge for me.
Of course.
So with that, and this new content that we're trying to bring, like Zaven mentioned, there's ad slots, there's this, there's that. We just want people to know that at the end of the day, whatever's going to be, I guess, contributed or given to Zartonk is going to be, it's essentially to help us get out more content. So it's the content comes first, exactly, to build. everything goes into the company first, and we wanna be able to elevate Zartonk and take us to the next level. So
Right.
yeah.
And you never know what kind of opportunities are going to knock on your
Exactly.
door from
Yes.
there too. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. We've been interviewing people over the course of the last month in Armenia, video editors, graphic designers, reporters, and right now we're like establishing our team, so it's the first place we've talked about it. But just put out content on content on content. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, everywhere. Audio, video.
Yeah.
And
amazing. Branching everywhere.
like what we're doing now is like it's nothing close to what we're going to be doing in a month or two, just because we're taking that leap right now. With like, it's also a risk, but like the biggest thing is employing people in Hayastan.
Of course. I
Like,
love that.
It's that means the most to me, because
Yeah.
like we've both been there on programs, on just on trips, and we see how it is there, and being able to help that,
Yeah.
being able to move that ticker a bit more towards like
Positive.
in the right direction, that's all that matters to me.
And anything would help, essentially. We're barely scratching the surface. We're two people. We also do other things. Zaven has his own marketing company. I'm a student. So the more, I guess, the more that comes in, the more we'll be able to push out.
Right, of course.
Yeah.
Of course, yeah. I love that you said that. I mean, that's such a huge answer to my question, because number one, you don't even know where it could go. Hopefully it goes to the stars and it'll be amazing. But just meeting people and the connections and being resourceful, it could get you to so many places, especially you're still in school. By the way, you mentioned you're doing your master's. Why don't you tell us what kind of background?
So I'm studying at Columbia University's School of International and Public Affairs.
Like New York, Columbia?
Yeah, New York, Columbia.
But online?
Unfortunately, yeah, for now. I'm studying international finance and economic policy. So yeah, just a lot of finance and economics.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a very prestigious school. So we want to wrap up. I definitely want our viewers to know how we all of us here, Spjurka of Hayastanum, we can support you. You're supporting them by giving them news and possibly even jobs soon. We should always meet that's how it goes. So we want to support each other. Tell our viewers how we can do that.
Okay, so the way we essentially operate is, as of now, we're doing almost everything. If you want to volunteer, if you're a graphic designer, if you're a video editor, if you're in LA,
We're in Yerevan.
or Yerevan, Vanadzor, Gyumri, Stepanakert, reach out, message us, email us. If you have an idea, we'll more than happily just jump on a call, see how it goes. We're looking to set up an internship class down the line in LA, and we actually we're trying to get a space and trying to do all that with so people can work out of somewhere, because there's a lot of talent in LA. There's a lot of Armenians who have gone and gotten very good educations, or people who are still in school who can help. So there's that. We have a donor box where you can contribute $1 a month, which we tend to not ask for, but that's what we would push. $5 a month, $10 a month, annually, one time. That will help us hire more people in Yerevan. We want to get to 10, 20 people as soon as possible. But as the funds are available, we can do that. We want to be putting out very complex, very informative, very easy to understand videos about Armenian history, about former battles, about there's more to Armenians than the events of 1915.
Death and devastation.
Death and devastation. There's a lot of thriving. There's a lot of Armenians succeeding. Like, we'll see posts on Instagram that people make about, like an Armenian made the color TV, an Armenian made the MRI machine. But there's more to that than a graphic. There's a story to be told. There's a video.
How did he get there?
Yes.
Yeah,
So,
of course.
Along with that, we have a clothing line called Shop Zartonk. Like the handle's called Shop Zartonk, but the brand's called Zartonk. We're going to grow that into an online shopping clothing company, where we are empowering Armenians in Hayastan and in the diaspora to submit designs and to work with us and to get those out. And that's going to help us fund our operations too. So the profits from here and there are going back into the homeland. And that's some ways you can help us out.
Amazing. You're branching out in so many different directions.
But at the same time, Armenians should be contributing to humanitarian organizations that are helping displaced families right now. Whether it's the ARS, whether it's there's just
there's
a lot
so
of them.
much to do.
Contribute to the war effort first, and yeah, the immediate humanitarian stuff, and then the change can go to.
But at the same time, this is like a multiple front war, and like we're still in a war. There's information war. There's a lot to do, and
cyber.
Like if you want to work with us or anything like that, reach out. We've gone this far with the help of others. So.
Lastly, Zartonk. I've never heard that word before. Is that a combination of a word?
So Zartonk essentially means awakening or renaissance in Armenian, and the period in the late 19th century that gave birth to the Armenian liberation movement, the national liberation movement. This awakening of national liberation,
so
or what we stand
woke?
For, is I wouldn't use that, but that's essentially what I guess where the idea was conceived, and we went with that, and we wanted a name to properly represent and encompass our struggle, our cause, and ultimately what we stand for.
Yes, and how we always rebirth ourselves.
Yeah, exactly.
And like the way we came up with the name was. So I had a sports page on Instagram that I was able to grow to 70,000 followers in about a year in 2018. And Vaughn and I were at a Starbucks in the Valley, and Vaughn's like, Zaven, have you thought of doing stuff like this for Armenian news or Armenian media? I'm like, kind of. And then we were just talking back and forth, and the name Zartonk just was like we have to choose this.
Yeah, I've never even heard of that name.
Yeah, it's different.
Yeah, and I mean it kind of works. You know, you guys are always like
awake.
Yeah.
We are too. Like we don't sleep too much, but
Okay. For more information and to help Zaven and Vaughn with all their efforts, they have a huge goal, and I love everything that they're doing. If you want to help out, if you want to get more information, whether you're here in the States or abroad, go to zartonkmedia.com or on Instagram, Zartonk Media. I wish you both all the success. You're fantastic. I'm so inspired by you.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Thank you. All right, till next time.